This is Felipe, Jill, and Eddie, and they are the protagonists for an after-school educational special that was pretty prevalent when I was growing up in the 90s. It was made in 1989. It's called A Nightmare on Drug Street. No copyright infringement intended. If you want to blame this video for all the drug problems that my generation has, maybe you can. It has a really good message at its core, but the story is so generic and it's so laughably bad that it just... I remember watching it twice in school. Once late in elementary school and once in middle school. And both times just laughing my balls off because of how ridiculous. And you know, I didn't know anything about drugs yet. I didn't care about drugs at the time. This talked more about drugs than I had ever heard. This introduced me to drugs. The message is good. I'm not, shitting on the message at all. Message is great. Keep kids away from drugs. I can agree with that. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, can agree with that as well. It's just that the execution misses the mark. And I'm going to show you a bit what I'm talking about in this upcoming video. Again, this is Nightmare on Drug Street from 1989. And I don't know if you were forced to watch it, but I was at least twice that I remember. In high school, I might have been high. I don't know. So let's dig into it. This is Felipe, Jill, and Eddie. Felipe is apparently some kind of alcoholic pothead. Jill gets exposed to the dangers of, white girls with cocaine. And Eddie smokes crack. In that order. So let's get into it.
I'll do Eddie again. I always have to do Eddie.
All right, you ready?
This is some good stuff.
Hey, you know what, Felipe? I don't think smoking dope's too cool.
Hey, what do you know? You're just a kid. Felipe's a senior.
Yeah. Hey, I'm getting ready for college. And in college, all the guys do this all the time. And so do the girls.
Dude, you get the best barrels ever, dude. Just like you pull in and you just get spit right out of them. And you just drop in and just smack the lip.
These guys are celebrating. Their team just won the big game, and Felipe was the hero. Only they think getting loaded is a way to have a good time.
Boy, you're tough tonight, Felipe.
Not tough. Just cool under pressure.
I'm going to learn the first lesson about dope, which some of you already know. And that's anything that can make you feel silly, can make you act stupid.
If I'm not back in 10 minutes, call the police.
Right.
Yeah, cool. All right, in what?
I will take my brother's car. He's working tonight.
All right.
Yeah, I help him work on it. He says I can use it just as long as I'm careful. One for the road.
Cue the generic 80s cruising music.
So where do you want to go to, huh? Man, we got this car, convertible, girls, gotta get some girls. Hey, I don't want to go out with my
on this ride. Gets worse. Here's lesson number 2 about drugs and alcohol. They make you change.
Oh, fly over here. Stop, you're going too fast.
I want to get out. You're gonna kill us.
Felipe!
Tonight, kids, we're gonna make a movie. First, we set the scene. Average home, average town. School just started back. Jill's giving a party, and you're invited.
I think he's just been voted cutest new guy in the school.
I think he's wearing cologne.
If you got that close to him, why didn't you ask him to dance?
He didn't ask me, dummy.
Why didn't you ask him? You know in these horror movies where something is about to happen and you're yelling, "Don't go in there, don't go in there." You should be screaming, "Don't go outside with him." And besides, never trust a 14-year-old who wears cologne.
Now, I kind of wanted to narrate over this scene a little bit, so I'm just going to cut the volume down a little bit. Now, this is Craig. Jill meets Craig. This is Jill's party. He asked her to step outside so they can get to know each other a little bit better. And this is normally when somebody would smoke or try to make out with her or something like that. Oh no, he's just breaking out his coke rig, just so casually.
Isn't it dangerous?
Only get caught. But one day they're gonna legalize it, so we can have it anytime we want.
Now I know when you're 14 you can fall for some pretty dumb stuff. But I mean, can these two not read? Do they not watch TV or listen to the radio?
But dude, cocaine? Come on, you know. And no sweat. I'm careful.
Anyway, she didn't know what he was doing. She thought he was out fooling around, so she got really mad, and then he brought this home for her on her birthday.
But that's great. Want some of this?
Wanna try some more?
This is a great party.
Totally. But I think Jill's the one who's really having a good time.
You know, Jill, when she wants something, she goes for it.
No wonder my parents don't want me to do it.
Yeah, I love the way you make me feel.
You read my mind.
And this basically just leads into a montage of both, you know, her just doing blow in her everyday life and, you know, acquiring blow in her everyday life from this scumbaggy dude. And she ends up selling that little locket around her neck. She gets deserted by her friends, and she eventually ends up dead. That's pretty much the whole story. I hate to just, you know, sum it up like that, but it doesn't really go anywhere beyond that, you know. She gets coke until she can't get coke anymore, and then she takes a bunch of pills for some reason and dies. And it's horrific, but again, poor execution. Next.
Well, it's time for Eddie to come from school now. You know, he hates for me to spy on him.
Well, what do you expect? Nobody but you, Eddie. I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, I think there are 3.
That's why they give homework, guys, so you do it.
No, they don't. They give homework so they can make your life miserable in those few hours when they're not standing right over you.
I'll bet they have, like, secret meetings down in the basements of the school where they can make sure that you have exactly more homework than you can do.
Where's your mom? She's working. She'll be home later.
What is that?
You do this stuff and it turns the inside of your head into a video game.
What is it?
This is crack, and this is what you smoke it in.
And that right there, that's what stuck out in my mind. That's what I remember. That's the quote that I remember to this day.
What's your mom gonna do? Come over and sneak up on us?
Come on, Eddie. You want to be a scientist? You've got to experience things.
One of my teachers said you could get hooked on this stuff.
Nah, that's just talk. My brother does it all the time, and he's not hooked.
Boy, wow, this is better than watching rockets. Are you sure it'll straighten me out by dinner time? What do I smoke it in?
You know, Eddie wasn't quite himself when he came home today.
Oh, what was wrong?
I don't know, he just wasn't right. You don't think it could be drugs, do you?
Drugs? No way, not Eddie. You aren't feeling well, Eddie.
I guess I'm better now.
You still don't seem like yourself now. I'm okay, really. Have you heard anything about drugs at school this year? Check on you.
I'll be all right. Oh, Eddie!
No hamburgers, no pizza, no movies, no television. Forget my MTV, no music. No kid brother who's always stealing your underwear out of your drawer.